Welcome to the 5 Week Linguist Show. This week, we're talking all about sanity savers for language teachers. And while these activities can be used in a lot of different contexts, they can be used A, novice, B, intermediate, C, advanced. I think they're just really helpful when you need to either liven something up, lighten the mood, but without out detracting from your content. So this first activity is not really an activity, it's a tool. Invest in some kind of buzzer system. I want to say a place called Trainers Warehouse, and then there's Teachers Discovery as well. They do some great ones. Just little buzzers. Something that's been really useful is called Expert. And basically, they're just little systems that sort of gamify what you're doing. Maybe you've got one of these for a group of students who want to answer a question. This can turn a textbook activity into a game. This can turn reviewing for a test into a game. It's well worth it. So this is great as you're, ending towards a marking period or prepping for an exam, going over grammar, going over vocabulary, you name it. This turns this into a game. And it works for all different levels. So at the A level, I would obviously what you're doing in your textbook or what you're going to give an exam about are different themed vocabulary. For the B level, again, the same, but you can give, longer questions and they're going to give longer answers because they can create. And for both the intermediate and the advanced level, as a lead up to this can be something, for example, if you've read a short story, which reading is one of the most valuable activities that we can do as both language teachers and learners. They write the questions, which gets them really going over the material. So maybe they want to write, a group will write 15 questions and they'll give them to you. You're, of course, going to vet these questions, but then all the groups can submit their questions and you ask them. And it involves a lot of listening, a lot of interaction. And then, of course, at the advanced level, this just goes a bit deeper. Post-it notes. I just want to talk about a few uses of Post-it notes to save your sanity. So this is a super useful tool for any language teacher or learner. Maybe you want to hand out different colors of Post-it notes to different groups and they label the room or they label clothes or they label body parts, right? There's so many different ways that you can do this. If you're familiar with flash sticks, they have a little system where they use different colors for different types of grammar. And there's an app where you can sort of, learn different words for different things that you point to. And you use the flash sticks to label everything. So that's really worth checking out. Another way, apart from just labeling and sort of categorizing and learning grammar in that way, in the context of these different things that we see that are around us, these are a great test review option. So everybody's got some Post-it notes and the students write questions of whatever you're reviewing. So this is great, if you're prepping for a test, end of some kind of marking period, and then you take the questions and put them all up sort of Jeopardy style. And you can even use different colors to categorize different activities or different types of questions. So for example, if it's a grammar question, it's this. If it's a whatever it is, and you put it up and then you all over your board, and then you've got a whole review game. Another sanity saver, this is math. It's not, I think of math as a language, but that's a whole different discussion. Language of quantities. basically allowing students, and you can do this in groups, but just don't allow phones. I would say no phones. Um, give them a piece of paper or an index card or whatever the case may be, and say on your test, you can use everything that you put on this index card or this piece of paper or whatever. And you get to use that during the entire test. And it may sound like, well, they didn't learn it then. It's one of those little tricks that gets them studying really intently. And I'd really like to dig a bit deeper into the research on, handwriting and hand to brain, writing it down, right? Really solidifying that knowledge. So if you're coming to the end of a marking period, this is a great activity. Here, you write down, here's what the test is going to be on. Here's what the exam's going to be on. Write down every single thing that you can, and you get to use it. So it's a really great review activity. So a really simple couple of activities just to have on standby. Again, when you're reviewing this, these activities tend to be most useful end of a marking period, end of prepping for a test, when things need a bit of a lift, but everybody kind of needs some downtime and but also study time. That sort of, I guess the best adult description feeling I could use to describe that would be sort of the wired and tired thing. You've got a lot to do, so you can't waste time, but we're all a little bit stressed. We need something that's not too strenuous, but we can't waste our time at the same time. So having a couple of really simple review activities on hand are I think really useful. So in this first activity, basically it's simple hangman, right? Whatever your vocabulary is, you play hangman. It's deep vocabulary, fun vocabulary review. It's gonna put a jolt of energy into the room, and it's really fun. If students are really, they really want to they need something really quiet, or maybe you need a sort of quiet activity that's still really engaged and focused in language, would be doodles, just little doodle journals. So this works beautifully for any review of any topic that involves nouns. So I've seen little doodle sketches, of verbs or actions, whatever, but I really like the ones that involve, maybe a beach scene or a house or a hotel or an airport or whatever the vocabulary is that you're doing. You take it and you make a scene and you label it. And then for a B, to bring that up to sort of the B level, or to practice that B level, right? Practice making sentences. They write 5 or 6 sentences about it. And then that can be a gallery all over the room and everybody can see each other's work. It's really, really, it's fun, it's engaging, and it's a way to still be really engaged in language in a quiet way. And this last one is just amnesty, and it is exactly as it sounds. Um, if you've got people, who maybe need to make up some work or some things that need to get done, amnesty day, they can make up whatever they need to do, and then at the same time have a few activities on hand for the ones that are done. Maybe some of those activities that we talked about just a minute ago, they can get maybe some extra credit for some doodles, or they can use that simple piece of paper or a simple piece of recycling paper to make a 9-grid bingo, which is a great idea from Martina Beck's Comprehensible Classroom. They can do kind of games in small groups, the ones that are done, but that's a great way to sort of, have some activities. People who might need a little bit of amnesty here, amnesty day, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you need to do. And if you're done, you have these other choices in the target language. I hope you found these activities useful. And we'll be back next week for the last talk video in this series. Until next time.